The hallway on the 42nd floor. Bright lights everywhere. An emergency meeting was happening inside the boardroom. Suddenly, a scream rang out. "Gun! He's got a gun!" Everyone panicked. Chairs crashed. People scattered. The man with the gun rushed straight toward the CEO. In that split second, a janitor mopping the floor nearby saw everything. He dove forward without thinking. Bang! The bullet tore through his shoulder. He collapsed hard. Blood soaked through his uniform. As security tackled the attacker, the CEO stared down at the man lying motionless on the ground. Her hands were shaking. Why did you do that?" He looked up at her. "Because someone had to." Subscribe Daddy Stories if you believe true heroes never introduce themselves. Jack Rowan was 40 years old, a single dad, a janitor in one of the biggest financial buildings in the city, but he wasn't always pushing a mop. 10 years ago, he was a Navy medic. He saved lives on battlefields. He earned a Silver Cross for pulling 3 soldiers out of a burning vehicle. Then his wife died. Cancer took her fast. He came home to raise their daughter alone. Now he worked nights, cleaning offices, mopping floors, emptying trash cans. Nobody knew his story. Nobody asked. His daughter Lila was 9 years old. Bright smile, big dreams. She wanted to be a doctor, just like her dad used to be. Every morning before school, she would hug him tight. "Be safe, Daddy. Always, sweetheart." Inside his janitor's closet, he kept a small photo of her, taped to the metal shelf. She was holding a sign that said, "Be brave like Dad." That picture kept him going. Clara Voss was 32, the youngest CEO the company ever had. She was brilliant, ruthless, and she didn't apologize for it. "Weak people don't belong here," she once told her board. "If you can't handle pressure, find another job." The employees feared her. Some respected her. None of them liked her. She arrived every morning at 6:30, black suit, cold eyes, no small talk. Jack had seen her dozens of times, passing through hallways, stepping into elevators. Never once did she look at him. To her, he was invisible, just another cleaner. That morning started like any other. Jack arrived at 4 a.m. The building was silent, empty. He pushed his cart down the 42nd floor. Executive territory. He cleaned the boardroom first, picked up papers scattered on the table, straightened the chairs. On the floor, he found a crumpled note. He unfolded it. It was Clara's handwriting, a reminder to herself. "Fire Jenkins. Too slow. No excuses." Jack sighed. He threw it away. At 7 a.m., the building came alive. Employees rushed in, coffee in hand, stress on their faces. Rumors were spreading fast. "Did you hear? Someone leaked confidential data." The CEO is furious. "She's calling an emergency meeting." Jack kept his head down, kept mopping. A security guard walked past him. "Gonna be a rough day, Jack." "Aren't they all?" The guard laughed. "Stay out of her way today. She's on fire." By 9 a.m., the entire executive team was gathered in the boardroom. Jack was finishing up nearby, wiping down windows, emptying bins. He could hear voices through the glass walls. Clara stood at the head of the table, arms crossed, voice sharp. "Someone in this company betrayed us, and I will find out who." The room was silent. Tension filled the air like smoke. Jack glanced at the clock. His shift was almost over. He needed to get home. Lila's school play was tonight. He grabbed his cart, started heading toward the elevator. Then he heard it. A shout, loud, angry. "You ruined my life!" Jack froze. The voice came from inside the boardroom. He turned around, saw movement through the glass. A man he didn't recognize, bursting through the side door, employees screaming. And then he saw it, the glint of metal. A gun. Jack's heart pounded. Every instinct from his Navy days kicked in. He didn't think, he just moved. Let's rewind. 2 hours earlier, Jack was in the elevator, 6th floor going up. The doors opened on the 10th floor. Clara Voss stepped in. She didn't look at him, just pressed the button for 42. Jack stood in the corner, his cleaning cart beside him. The smell of bleach and disinfectant filled the small space. Clara wrinkled her nose. She glanced at him for the first time. Her eyes were cold, dismissive. You again? Jack nodded politely. Good morning, ma'am. You smell like bleach. He didn't respond. She turned away, checked her phone. Stay off the executive floors during business hours. You're a distraction. Yes, ma'am. The elevator dinged. 42nd floor. Clara walked out without another word. Jack exhaled slowly. He'd dealt with worse. Outside the elevator, two security guards were chatting. One of them saw Jack and smirked. Man, she really hates blue-collar guys. Yeah, the other guard said. Heard she fired a maintenance guy last month for asking about his benefits. Just keep your head down, Jack. Don't give her a reason. Jack pushed his cart down the hallway. I never do. But Clara's words stayed with him. You're a distraction. He'd been invisible his whole life here. 3 years of cleaning these floors. 3 years of arriving before dawn. Leaving after dark. Nobody said thank you. Nobody remembered his name, except the other janitors and the security guards. To everyone else, he was just the guy who emptied the trash. At 8:45 a.m., the tension in the building was unbearable. Clara had sent out an email to all executives. Emergency meeting, 9 a.m. sharp, no excuses. Everyone knew what it was about, the data breach. Someone had leaked sensitive financial information to a competitor. Millions of dollars were at stake. Clara was out for blood. Jack was wiping down the glass walls outside the boardroom. Through the transparent panels, he could see executives filing in. Their faces were tight, nervous. Clara stood at the head of the table, arms crossed, no expression. Close the door, she said. One of the executives obeyed. Jack kept cleaning, slowly, quietly. He could still hear everything. Someone in this room is a traitor. Clara's voice was sharp, cutting. I don't care who you are. I don't care how long you've worked near Diwam. If you did this, I will destroy you. One of the men spoke up, his voice shaking. Clara, maybe we should involve HR or legal. We can't just accuse people without, I don't need HR to tell me what I already know. Someone sold us out. Silence. Jack glanced through the glass. Clara's eyes scanned the room like a predator. You have until end of day to come forward. If you confess, I'll make it quick. If I find you first, you'll wish you'd never been born. Jack finished cleaning the glass. He checked his watch, 8:58. His shift was almost over. He could go home, see Lila before school, maybe grab breakfast with her. He smiled at the thought. Then he heard footsteps, fast, angry. He turned. A man was walking down the hallway. Jack recognized him, David Harmon, former senior analyst, fired 3 months ago. Jack remembered the day. Harmon had been escorted out by security, screaming, crying. You can't do this to me. I have a family. Clara had watched from her office window, emotionless. Now Harmon was back. His face was red, his eyes wild. He was carrying something under his jacket. Jack's instincts kicked in immediately. Something was wrong. He stepped forward. Sir, can I help you? Harmon didn't even look at him. Get out of my way. Jack moved to block the boardroom door. Sir, you're not supposed to be here. Harmon shoved him hard. Jack stumbled back. His cart tipped over. Water and cleaning supplies spilled across the floor. I said move! Harmon reached for the door handle. That's when Jack saw it. The gun. Tucked into Harmon's waistband, Jack's heart slammed against his chest. He'd seen guns before, in war zones, in combat, but this was different. This was here, in a corporate office, in the middle of the city, and there were people inside that room. Jack grabbed Harmon's arm. Don't do this. Harmon spun around, eyes blazing. She destroyed my life. She took everything from me. I know, but this isn't the answer. You don't know anything. Harmon ripped his arm free. He pulled the gun out. Jack's blood went cold. Sir, please. Harmon kicked the boardroom door open. Gun! He's got a gun! Screams erupted inside. People dove under the table. Chairs crashed. Clara froze, her eyes locked on Harmon. You Harmon said, his voice shaking with rage. You ruined my life. Security? Someone shouted. But security was 2 floors down. It would take them 30 seconds to get here. Harmon raised the gun, pointed it straight at Clara. You took everything from me. Now I'm taking everything from you. Time slowed. Jack didn't think. He just moved. He lunged forward, threw himself between Harmon and Clara. Bang! The sound was deafening. The bullet hit Jack in the shoulder. Pain exploded through his body. He crashed into Clara. They both went down hard. Blood sprayed across the glass table. Harmon stood there, stunned, the gun still smoking in his hand. Then the security guards burst in. They tackled Harmon to the ground. The gun clattered across the floor. Jack was lying on his back, blood pooling beneath him. His vision blurred. Clara was beside him, her hands pressed against his wound. Stay with me! Stay with me! Her voice was shaking. For the first time, Jack saw fear in her eyes. Why did you do that? She whispered. Jack's lips moved. Someone had to. Then everything went black. The hospital room was quiet. Too quiet. Clara sat in a plastic chair beside the bed. Her black suit was stained with blood. Jack's blood. She hadn't changed. She hadn't left. She just sat there, staring at the man who saved her life. Jack was unconscious, hooked up to machines. Wires everywhere. The bullet had torn through his shoulder, missed his lung by inches. The doctor said he was lucky. Clara didn't feel lucky. She felt something else, something she hadn't felt in years. Guilt. A nurse came in. Ma'am, you should go home. Get some rest. Clara shook her head. I'm staying. He'll be okay. The surgery went well. I'm staying. The nurse nodded and left. Clara looked down at her hands. They were still shaking. She could still feel his blood. Warm, sticky. She could still hear the gunshot, still see him throwing himself in front of her. Why? Why would he do that? On the small table beside the bed, there was a clipboard, Jack's medical file. Clara reached for it. She knew she shouldn't, but she needed to understand. She opened it. Patient name, Jack Rowan. Age 40. Occupation, janitor. Emergency contact. Lila Rowan, daughter age 9. Clara's chest tightened. He had a daughter, she kept reading. Military service, U.S. Navy, combat medic, 2008-2015. Honors, Silver Cross for Valor, Clara froze. Silver Cross. That was one of the highest military honors. This man wasn't just a janitor, he was a decorated war hero. She flipped through more pages. There was a note from his commanding officer. Petty Officer Rowan repeatedly demonstrated extraordinary courage under fire. On June 14, 2014, he single-handedly pulled 3 wounded soldiers from a burning vehicle while under enemy attack. His actions saved 3 lives and inspired everyone who served with him. Clara's hands trembled. She'd called him a distraction, told him he smelled like bleach, treated him like he was nothing, and he'd saved her life anyway. Then she saw something else, a news clipping, folded, tucked into the file. She unfolded it carefully. Local hero saves factory workers in chemical explosion. June 2019, there was a photo, a younger Jack, in civilian clothes, standing outside a burning building. Clara's eyes widened. She knew that building. It was her father's chemical plant. 6 years ago, there had been an explosion, a massive one. Her father had been inside. He'd survived, but he never told her how. Clara read the article. Jack Rowan, a former Navy medic, happened to be driving past when the explosion occurred. Without hesitation, he ran into the burning facility and pulled 4 workers to safety, including plant manager Richard Voss. Clara's breath caught. Richard Voss, her father. Jack had saved her father, and she never knew. A freeze moment. Clara sat back in the chair. Her mind was spinning. She remembered the elevator, Jack standing in the corner, quiet, respectful. She remembered his eyes, calm, patient, no anger, no resentment, just acceptance. He'd been invisible to her, but he'd been watching over her the whole time. She looked at him now. His face was pale, peaceful, bandages wrapped around his shoulder, machines beeping softly. "Who are you?" she whispered. Hours passed. Clara didn't move. She just sat there, thinking, remembering. At 2 in the morning, Jack's eyes fluttered open. He blinked slowly, confused. The hospital lights were dim. He tried to sit up. Pain shot through his shoulder. "Don't move," Clara's voice. He turned his head. She was still there. "Ms. Voss, you're awake." Jack looked around. "How long was I out?" 18 hours. He tried to smile. "Guess the floor is clean enough now." Clara didn't laugh. She leaned forward. "Why did you save me?" Jack's smile faded. "What do you mean?" "I treated you like garbage. I told you to stay off my floor. I never even learned your name." "Oh yeah, you were busy." "That's not an excuse." Jack was quiet for a moment. "You want the truth?" "Yes." He looked at the ceiling. "My daughter, Lila. She's 9. Clara nodded. "I saw her name in your file. She asks me every day what I do at work, and I tell her, I help people." His voice was soft. "She thinks I'm a hero because I was in the Navy, because I have medals." He turned to look at Clara. "But the truth is, most days I feel like I'm nobody, just a guy pushing a mop." Clara's eyes were wet. "Then why did you do it?" Jack smiled, a real smile this time. "Because my daughter believes heroes don't choose who's worth saving. They just save people. All people." Clara's tears spilled over. "I didn't deserve that." "Maybe not, but she did." "Who?" "My daughter. She deserves to believe her dad is still the man she thinks he is." Clara couldn't speak. She just sat there, crying for the first time in years. Jack reached out slowly. His hand found hers. "You okay?" Clara laughed through her tears. "You just took a bullet for me, and you're asking if I'm okay?" "Old habit." She squeezed his hand. "I'm sorry." "For what?" "For everything. For how I treated you. For not seeing you." Jack shook his head. "You see me now. That's enough." Clara wiped her eyes. "I need to tell you something." "What?" 6 years ago, my father almost died in a factory explosion. Jack's eyes widened slightly. "You saved him. You ran into a burning building and pulled him out." Jack was silent. "You're Richard Voss's daughter?" "Yes." He laughed softly. "Small world." "Why didn't you ever say anything?" "Wasn't my place. Your dad thanked me. That was enough." Clara shook her head in disbelief. "You saved my father. You saved me, and you never asked for anything." "Didn't need to." "Why not?" Jack looked at her, really looked at her. "Because being a hero isn't about recognition. It's about doing what's right when nobody's watching." Clara sat back. Her whole life, she'd believed strength meant being ruthless, being tough, never showing weakness. But this man, this janitor, this hero, he'd shown her something different. Real strength wasn't about power. It was about sacrifice, about protecting others. Even when they didn't deserve it, a nurse came in. "Visiting hours are over." Clara stood up. "I'll be back tomorrow." Jack nodded. "You don't have to." "Yes, I do." She walked to the door, then stopped, turned around. "Jack?" "Yeah, thank you." He smiled. "Anytime, Ms. Voss." "Clara, call me Clara." The news spread fast. By the next morning, every news channel had the story. Janitor saves CEO from armed attacker. Hero in disguise. Navy veteran stops workplace shooting. From mop to metal, the man who took a bullet for his boss. Social media exploded. People were sharing Jack's photo, his military record, his story. Suddenly, the invisible man was visible. At the office, everything changed. Employees who'd never noticed Jack before stopped in their tracks. Security guards saluted him when he came back to work 2 weeks later. His arm was in a sling, but he was walking, smiling. "Welcome back, Jack." "Good to see you, man." "You're a legend." Jack just nodded, humble as always. "Thanks, just doing my job." But the biggest change was Clara. She called an emergency company meeting. Every single employee, from executives to security people to janitorial staff, everyone gathered in the main auditorium. Clara stood on stage. Her voice was steady, but different, softer. 3 weeks ago, Someone tried to kill me in this building. The room was silent. I'm alive because of one man. A man most of you never noticed. A man I never noticed. She paused. Jack Rowan worked here for 3 years. He cleaned your offices. He emptied your trash. He kept this building running. And when danger came, he didn't run. He didn't hide. Oh, he put himself between me and a bullet. Clara's voice cracked. The man you all ignored is the reason any of us are still here. She gestured to the screen behind her. Jack's photo appeared. In his Navy uniform. The silver cross on his chest. This is who Jack really is. A decorated combat medic. A father, a hero. Applause erupted. Jack was sitting in the back row, embarrassed. Clara pointed at him. Stand up, Jack. He hesitated. Please. Slowly, Jack stood. The entire auditorium rose to their feet. Thunderous applause. Some people were crying. Jack's eyes were wet too. Clara continued. Starting today, we're launching the Rowan Rescue Fund, a program to support veterans transitioning to civilian life, to give them opportunities, respect, recognition, more applause, because no hero should ever be invisible. After the meeting, executives lined up to shake Jack's hand, people who'd walked past him for years. Now they wanted photos, autographs. Jack was polite, but overwhelmed. Finally, Clara pulled him aside. I have an offer for you. What kind of offer? Head of Safety and Security? Corner office? 6-figure salary. Jack smiled. That's generous. You deserve it. He shook his head. I appreciate it, Clara. I really do. But no thank you. Clara blinked. No? I'm not done cleaning up this place yet. She laughed. Actually laughed. You're serious? Dead serious. Someone's got to keep these floors clean. Clara looked at him, really looked at him. You're something else, Jack Rowan. Just a guy doing his job. But Clara didn't give up. She doubled his salary, added full benefits, college fund for Lila. Jack looked at her for a long moment. Then he nodded. For my daughter, he said. Not for me. Clara smiled. Deal. That evening, Jack went home to Lila. She was doing homework at the kitchen table. How was your day, Daddy? Jack sat down beside her. People keep calling me a hero. Lila looked up, her eyes bright. That's because you are. I don't feel like one. Why not? Because I was just doing what anyone should do. Lila put down her pencil, but not everyone does it. That's what makes you special. Jack's throat tightened. He pulled her into a hug, and in that moment, he realized something. He didn't save Clara for recognition. He did it because his daughter was watching, and he wanted to be the man she believed he was. 1 year later, the company was transformed, not just the policies, the culture. Every employee was recognized, respected, valued. From the CEO to the cleaning crew, nobody was invisible anymore. It was Family Appreciation Day. Employees brought their kids to work. Lila walked through the glass doors holding Clara's hand. She was 10 now, bright-eyed, confident. Is this where my dad works? Yes, Clara said, and where he saved my life. Lila smiled. He does that a lot. They walked to the main lobby. On the wall, there was a new plaque, polished bronze, gleaming under the lights, in honor of those who serve without being seen. Below it, a photo of Jack, in his janitor uniform. Lila touched the plaque gently. That's my dad. Yes, it is, Clara said softly. He's pretty amazing. I know. Jack appeared from around the corner, pushing his cleaning cart, still in his uniform, still doing his job. Hey, sweetheart. Daddy! Lila ran to him, hugged him tight. Clara watched them, her heart full. Later that afternoon, Clara gave a speech. The entire company gathered, families, children, everyone. A year ago, I learned something important. She looked at Jack in the crowd. I learned that a company doesn't change because of policies or profits. It changes because of people. One act of quiet bravery showed me what real leadership looks like. Her voice trembled. It's not about power. It's not about titles. It's about serving others, protecting others, even when nobody's watching. Jack stood up, not because he wanted attention, but because Clara asked him to. He walked to the stage. Clara handed him the microphone. The room was silent. Jack cleared his throat. People think janitors clean floors. He paused, looked at his daughter. But maybe we just clear the way for others to stand taller. The room exploded in applause. Lila was crying, smiling. Clara was crying too. As the sun set through the glass windows, golden light filled the lobby. Jack stood with his arm around Lila, Clara beside them. 3 people, different worlds, connected by one moment of courage. Voiceover, Jack speaking. I used to think being a hero meant medals and recognition. But my daughter taught me different. Being a hero means showing up every day, doing what's right, even when it's hard, even when nobody sees, because someone's always watching, and someone's always worth saving. The camera pulls back slowly. The company logo reflects in the window, but in the reflection, you can see them. Jack, Lila, Clara, standing together. A tear rolls down Jack's cheek. He wipes it away, smiles. Subscribe if you believe respect should never depend on your title.